Hi everyone, it's Vanessa at Fitness23 and Train with V. Sorry I've missed you for a few months. My life took a complete turn of upheaval. I lost my business in Fort Worth, Texas. I still live here, just filming out of my house again. And don't know what I'm gonna do for work, but I'm getting back to the Haglund's discussion because I saw someone today who asked me why I hadn't done anything for a while. So I really want to get back to this because in the 3 weeks that I've lost my business and had this horrible landlord who I will go to court with, running has been what has kept me sane. And my entire life, it has been running that keeps me sane. So I want to help keep you sane and keep you out on the roads. I have ramped up from 10 to 15 miles every week for the past 2 or 3 months to almost 30 this week without any pain. And I am really cognizant of how my feet are. So first thing I really want you to do is really, when you know you have Haglund's, you think you have that bump, you know you have that Achilles hurt in the back of your heel, look at my other videos. I talk about shoes a lot. I talk about insoles. I talk about some exercises. I will do another video in a week or so about exercises I do for my feet. And let's really get those feet feeling good. We cannot run when we hurt. And running for me is the, I don't know, meditative state or whatever that keeps me going. So let's talk about a couple of shoe things and what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you a new pair and an old pair for a reason. So I am running daily in the Nike Zoomx Invincible Run. Right now they're on sale at Nike, so I would suggest you run and get them. This is January of 2023. The shoes always go on sale in January because they're gonna come out with the new ones in February and March. Remember, there's always 2 new models a year, so you've gotta look for the end of it to get your shoes. But this pair of shoes has had about 200 miles on them. Now remember, I make sure I have shoes that don't have any bumps in the back, that don't rub on the back. And as you see, if you can look at these shoes, they have actually, this hard plastic is on the sides, but it does not run in the back. So without that hard plastic in the back, it doesn't rub against my Haglund's. My Haglund's on my left side of my foot is on the inside, on the right side is directly in the back. Haglund's can be that bump, that bony bump, in a couple of different places. Now also, my left leg is my weaker leg, so I do things outside of running more in my left leg. Like if I'm walking upstairs, I try to lead with that leg. I do more gym exercises on the left leg to try to build that up to make it more even. But everyone has a crooked leg. If you don't know what your weaker leg is, just shut your eyes for a second or two when you're running. Don't run into a car, and you'll know it. Okay, so the reason I want to talk about the Invincible Run, these shoes have basically 125, 130 miles maybe on them. I usually change my shoes every 200 miles. I found this one can probably go 250 or 300. And the wear is super good. I mean, this sole really holds up. I do 90% of my running on asphalt roads or concrete. But also, because of this heel buildup on this shoe, which makes it super comfortable, I'm striking really well, and I'm not heel striking and wearing it out at the heel more than the rest of the shoe. That's really important for those of us with Haglund's. We tend to be heel strikers. We need to avoid that to keep our Achilles tendons feeling well. Now, I of course wear insoles. My other things talk about insoles. I used to live in California, and I would go to Roadrunners and have custom insoles made. They're still my preferred ones. In Texas, we don't have our Roadrunners. I'm hoping to get some soon, but I don't know how. I can get them online. They're not as good as the ones they make for you in the store, but that's just whatever. But the Invincible Run, I get to be a really even runner in them, which is great. And you really can't tell the difference in these soles with 125 miles or so. You can tell they're dirty. I've been wearing them compared to a brand new pair. So really be really cognizant of when your shoes wear out. But I would really suggest, I just think that the weight distribution works well, and because of the bigger heel, it doesn't really let me be a heel striker. Remember, it's soft in the back, the plastic is not all the way around the back, which allows me to not have that rub. There's not a big round brace around the heel. Is on the outside of the heel, not on the inside of the shoe. It's really smooth in here, doesn't rub against me. I, of course, still tape and use compression socks. Now, if you're not a Nike person, I'm a Nike person because it's actually a little more, it fits my feet really well, especially the narrow heel. You don't want a lot of room in your heel. The Adidas have a little more room in the heel. I can't run in them, it moves too much for me. So this actually works out. Nikes work great for me. Now, I always want to try their things, and well, these were on sale. So these Sauconys, I don't know, this was a Saucony Glide 14. They were like 50 bucks. I thought that, wow, cool, right? And for walking, they're incredible. They're super soft, right? They're not gonna hurt my Haglunds, but I do feel harder plastic around the entire side. And when I run in them, they don't feel like they're doing much for me. Where these have bounce, I like bounce. The Zoomx foam has bounce, I love it. But these don't hurt my Haglunds, and I found that a lot of Sauconys don't. Now remember, I talked about the ridge on the outside of the shoe on these ones. This one is not that way. This one, it's more on the inside, but it's super soft in the Saucony. Remember, we avoid Asics. Asics got a harder ridge inside, doesn't work out. But if you're gonna race, I don't care if it's a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, you will see 50% of the runners now in some kind of carbon plated shoe. If for whatever reason you don't want the Vaporfly, which is the shoes that I've gone to for 5 years now for my racing, then you're gonna try some other things. So, you know, the Endorphin Pro from Saucony weighs nothing, and it's super light. The foam feels great. There's nothing to rub against you in the back. It's really like got no material in here. But for me, you see how the toe comes up so much? It doesn't work for me. Now, I think if you're really not a heel striker at all and you really can toe off, it's probably great. But you know, we all want these carbon plated shoes because they make us faster. The Saucony didn't work for me as a racing shoe. It didn't feel like much. But I will tell you that it didn't hurt my Haglunds. So if Sauconys work for you, I would definitely try to get these. So if you watch my other videos, I try to try shoes out all the time to see what works for Haglunds and for your Achilles tendon issues. One more time, avoid Brooks and avoid Asics at all costs. Always make sure that your shoes are large enough. And I know women especially hate to buy shoes that are large enough, but in a regular, like, let's say I'm in Texas, a Western boot, I'm wearing a 9 or 9.5. I'm always wearing at least a 10 in a running shoe because I want to have extra room and not have my foot smashed against the back of the shoe. That's really the most important thing, to avoid the rub and to keep the flexibility in your ankle. So I want to talk about this flexibility in your ankle a little bit, right? So I put this down because I really want you to think about getting this flexibility in your ankle and working on that all the time when you're sitting at your desk job, whatever it may be, but to keep everything supple. The really trick is to keep it supple. So I will do a video later in the week, that's Adeline, you see her walking around the back, of exercises to keep this. But there's no reason why you're not working on this 5 or 10 minutes a day while you sit at your desk. Both legs, of course. I'm going to talk about hips, all that kind of stuff. But it's all about starting at the feet, and our feet are everything for us, for those of us who run. So back to it again. I really like to do the Nike. This is my 4th or 5th pair now that I've been running in. I change shoes about every month or 5 or 6 weeks, about 200 miles or so, depending on what I'm doing. So I really find the Zoomx Invincible Run is fantastic. Got that bigger heel, not a necessarily attractive shoe, even though they have a lot more colors now, but super comfortable for my Haglunds. If you like Sauconys, they actually have some pretty good ones now, and you can try the Endorphin Pro if you're not a heel striker. I think if you're a heel striker, it's just not going to work out so well. I don't feel the bounce at all in this as I feel in the Vaporfly. All right, it's been Vanessa. If you have any questions about your Haglunds, I'm always happy to answer that. So just shoot me an email or do a comment down below and I will get back to you. Have a great day and see you on the roads.